Fani Willis will take the stand again this morning, a day after this heated testimony about her affair with Trump prosecutor Nathan Wade.
I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
Has he ever visited you at the place you laid your head?
So let's be clear, because you lied in this. Let me tell you which one you lied in. Right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth,
Judge.
And it is a lie. It is a lie.
Thank you. We're going to take 5 minutes. Be back in 5.
Well, the drama did not end there. Here she would be being asked about whether her then relationship with Wade ended prior to the indictment against Trump.
Romantic relationship ended before the indictment was returned, yes or no?
To a man, yes.
Well, to a man, yes. To you, no?
She's explained this.
Being a woman, it's over when you have that, like, hard conversation. I just think women and men think differently.
Here with reaction, Fox News legal editor Carrie Kupak-Urban. Carrie, first off, what are the important, besides the salacious details about their relationship, what is the most important thing the judge is looking for?
Well, first of all, at a minimum, the judge is going to have to ensure that Ms. Willis does not continue to reframe the questions, attack the attorneys, and continue to behave in the hostile manner that she is. In fact, yesterday, he had to admonish her a number of times for her behavior and said that if she continued to act the way that she did, he was going to have to strike her testimony altogether, which, of course, would be devastating in this hearing. So I'm going to be looking to see if she's calmer, if she's more compliant. You know, you don't have the luxury when you're on the stand of attacking the lawyers in the way that she's been doing. And so that's one thing I'm looking for. I'm also interested to see if they're going to get back into the testimony from the friend, the good friend of hers, who also worked in that office at one point, who said that the relationship between Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade started long before what they represented to the court. And Brian, the reason that would be a problem is because if they lied in a court filing, I don't see how that wouldn't impact the judge's decision to disqualify her and potentially her office from the case.
She says the relationship started in 2019. Obviously, he gets named special prosecutor to this prestigious case, gets hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it. They go on 6 vacations. We're still trying to find out where exactly Belize is. And they have the time of their lives. They go wine tasting. We find out all this.
And they're paying for it all in cash. Don't forget.
And she would pay him back in cash. We have no withdrawal slips. So having said, you could say whatever you want. They coordinated, number one, when they broke up. A man is different than a woman. And number two, paying in cash. This guy's law firm got paid, and people would walk in and give him cash in a law firm. She would take cash out of her wall, out of a condo. So there's a lot of questions, but I just want legally, where does this case go from here? If they decide no credibility, she is lost, she's off the case, what happens to the case?
Look, there's no question that Ms. Willis has acted in a lot of ways hypocritically. Let's not forget that she ran a number of years ago saying that she thought it was terrible when people dated her employees, their employees. Well, look what she's been doing with partisanship and obviously inappropriateness with the way she's conducted herself, not just in this hearing yesterday, but in this whole situation. That being said, though, the burden is on the defense to produce evidence that demonstrates an actual conflict or an appearance of one. You know, that's a pretty high burden. And if it comes down to a friend saying something versus Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade, it's unclear to me how the judge is going to rule here.
Interesting. And then if nothing else, they're definitely sullied as they move forward with this case.
Oh, now, for sure.
So let's talk about Robert Hur's report. It's been pilloried. The Department of Justice has stood up for Robert Hur after him taking a series of verbal beatdowns from the White House, from the president himself. And now we find out that he is going to be testifying in a couple of weeks in front of Congress. Think about this. The DOJ has to send a letter to the White House defending the special counsel. The president put that Department of Justice together and said it's going to be totally independent. And now they have to defend the Department of Justice. This is an odd situation.
Very. And let me translate this DOJ letter to the White House. What they are saying to President Biden is, we are just as unhappy with you as you are with us. And probably because President Biden has repeatedly violated DOJ White House norms by commenting on open and ongoing investigations and prosecutions into whom? His son, himself, and his number one political opponent in the GOP frontrunner, Donald Trump. Now, Brian, I'm sure you remember just a few years ago when former President Trump would say anything about DOJ. You know, all hell would break loose. I mean, I was at the Justice Department. I would field those calls, but my phone would be blowing up all day from the press saying, how can this happen? And now President Biden is doing that all the time, and yet I'm not seeing a lot of stories or coverage on that. Are you?
Not yet. When Robert Hur comes out and his credibility is going to be unimpeachable, and if he wants, now I think very few people read this report. When you read the 380 pages, you see what the president got away with. And they cite Ronald Reagan taking home his notes to try to save their credibility. But the president, if you bring this out, there's going to be something they don't want to do.